All right, well, hello, sixth grade. We are continuing along here in Chapter 8, working with inequalities. Solve the inequality, graph the solution. So in our previous video for 8.7, we took inequalities and just graphed them. Well, now our inequalities are written like as an equation that we have to solve, and then we have to graph the solution. So let's go ahead and get started. We have several we want to do. First of all, we have x minus 7 is greater than, x minus 7 is less than 9. Now remember our inequality symbols. We have less than, greater than, less than and equal to, greater than and equal to. Remember when we graph, when it cannot be equal to, when it's just less than, or if it's just greater than, it's an unshaded circle. But if it's less than and equal to, because it can equal that value, it's a shaded circle. Or if it's greater than and equal to, because it can equal that value, that's also a shaded circle. So we start with x minus 7 is less than 9. We're going to think about this first as x minus 7 equals 9. Well, if x minus 7 equals 9, then I'm going to add, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Add 7, make that 0. Add 7, that becomes 16. And it becomes x is equal to 16. But then I need to graph it, which means that I'm going to have a circle that starts at 16, okay? And it says 16, x has to be less than that. So my graph is going to go to the left because on a number line, the numbers get smaller. X cannot equal 16. X has to be less than 16. So it's an unshaded circle. And then I just go ahead, 15, 14, 13, 12. And as we talked about yesterday, we like to have at least 5 numbers there. All right, let's go on to the next one. 6 plus x is greater than 19. Well, I'm going to think about this as 6 plus x equals 19. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. That's going to make 0. 19 minus 6 is 13. I end up with x is greater than 13. Well, which means x has to be greater than 13, which means it's an unshaded circle over 13. X is greater than, x is on the bigger side of the inequality. You always go with where the x is. X over here, it's on the smaller side. X over here, it's on the bigger side. So it's going to get bigger. All right. And then the numbers will get bigger. 14, 15, 16, 17. And that's graphing the inequality. 1/8 c is greater than or equal to 8. Well, we're going to set up an equation. 1/8 c is equal to 8. All right, so that leaves me with dividing both sides by 1 over 8, because that's a multiplication problem. So it's going to be 8 over 1 divided by 1 over 8, which is essentially 8 over 1 times 8 over 1, which equals 64 over 1, or 64, which means c is equal to 64. Now c can be greater than or equal to. So in this case, it's going to be a shaded circle that starts at 64. It's on the bigger side because c is greater than, so it's going to move to the right. Then we're going to go ahead and have 65, 66, 67, 68. All right, sorry about the little glare there. But that's how that works, and that's the graph. And it's a shaded circle because it's greater than or equal to. Moving right along, 5 over 6 is less than or equal to 1/2 plus y. Well, so this gets us 5 over 6 equals 1/2 plus y. So I got to subtract 1/2 from both sides. That gives me 0. 5 over 6 minus 1/2. Well, I got to find a common denominator. I think that's going to be 6. So my 5, 6 is going to stay the same. 2 times 3 is 6, so 1 times 3 is 3. I get 5 over 6 minus 3 over 6, which equals 2 over 6. I simplify 2 over 6 by dividing them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I get 1 over 3. Y is equal to 1/3. But it says y is on the bigger side of the inequality. Do not be confused when y gets over here. It's open to the y, which means the y is on the bigger side, which means my line is going to go to the right. This inequality has nothing to do with pointing which way it's going to go. The y is on the bigger side, so it's going to go right, and it can be shaded because it says it's greater than or equal to. It's going to start at 1/3, and then it's going to be 2/3, 3/3, which is the same as 1. Then it might be 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3. So I'm kind of running out of space here on my board, but you get the idea how that's going to work. All right, we're going to look at a few more, and then we'll kind of be done. 12x is less than 84. Well, 12x is less than 84, so I'm going to set this up as 12x equals 84. I have to divide both sides by 12. That's going to give me x. I got to divide this by 12. I know that 84 divided by 12 is 7, so in that equation, x equals 7. So here it says x is less than 7. Well, that's got to be an unshaded circle because x cannot equal 7. X has to be less than 7. It has to be an unshaded circle. So it's going to start at 7. We're going to move to the left. 6, 5, 4, 3. All right, let's go to this one. 6x over 9 is greater than or equal to 18. Well, here's a two-step equation because first I have to isolate the 6x. And I'm going to do that here because this is division by timesing 18 and 9. So I'm going to come over here, do 18 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. Put the 2 down, carry the 7. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. I get 162. So 6x equals 162, which means I'm going to divide both sides by 6. That's going to leave me with x here. I'm going to come over here and do 6 into 162. 6 can go into 16 twice. 2 times 6 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Bring down the 2. 6 can go into 42 7 times. And I know there's none left over because 7 times 6 is 42. So x equals 27. Now, x is on the bigger side, and it can be bigger than or equal to. So since it's on the bigger side, I know my number line is moving right, but it's greater than or equal to. So I know this needs to be shaded. And it's starting at 27. Change that, it's going to be 28, 29, 30, 31. All right, a couple more. X over 7 is greater than 3. X over 7 is greater than 3. Well, it's a division, so it's going to become x over 7 is equal to 3. That's a division problem, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. That's going to leave me with x here. I also have to do 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Now it says x has to be greater than 21. It can't be equal to, so it's going to be an unshaded circle that starts at 21. It's going to move to the right, which is going to be 22, 23, 24, 25. Last one. 7.5x is less than or equal to 45. Well, set up the equation. 7.5x is equal to 45. Divide both sides by 7.5. That leaves me with x here. Well, if I take 45 and I divide that by 7.5, I have to move the decimal, which makes that 75, which makes the 45 450. Well, I'm thinking 75 would round to 80. 8 can go into 45 5 times. So I'm going to try 75 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Put the 5 down, carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 is 37. I get 375. I'm going to go ahead and try 75 times 6 just to see what I get. So there's a good distance between 450 and 375. 6 times 5 is 30. Put the 0 down, carry the 3. 6 times 7, 42. Plus the 3 is 45. I get 450, sure enough, so I get 6, which means that x is less than or equal to 6, which means it's going to be a shaded circle. It starts at 6, and since it's less than, it's going to be moving to the left, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the arrow, and so forth. That's graphing inequality, folks. All right, we'll talk to you later.